unclear. Let's now speak to Kamran Bokhari, a Senior Director of the Eurasian Security and Prosperity portfolio at the New Lines Institute. Dr. Bokhari, thank you very much for being with us. To you, what does Israel running security operations in the Gaza Strip look like?
Well, it wouldn't be just security operations. The Israelis, if they remove the Hamas regime, then they will have to be responsible for administration, which is beyond security, which is provision of services to the people. And it's essentially reoccupying the Gaza Strip, something that the Israelis unilaterally moved away from back in 2005. So this would be a huge undertaking. And occupations tend to be, tend to create more problems than they solve. If we look at the occupation of Iraq, Afghanistan, by the United States in the years following the September 11 attacks, we see that, the occupations don't lead to consequences that are favorable for any side.
Israel says that its operation in Gaza is to neutralize, dismantle, destroy Hamas. We're talking about an organization branded a terrorist organization by many Western governments. It's been around since the late 1980s. This does not look like it's going away anytime soon. And arguably, if it does, there are other groups with similar ideologies to Hamas, most notably Hezbollah in Lebanon to Israel's north. Can Israel really get what it wants when it comes to the dismantling of Hamas?
I think that it's probably likely that they will remove the Hamas government. Again, not inevitable because there's such a human cost to it. Because this is not going to be an easy operation. This is a very densely populated area. And, it's already a major humanitarian crisis with the current state of operations that are taking place in the Gaza Strip. And then you have the relocation of people from the northern end of the Strip to the southern end, essentially putting, over 2 million people in a much smaller area and adding pressure onto Egypt. So this is not going to be easy. So, but let's say that they, effect regime change and remove Hamas from being the government of Gaza. That's not the same as saying that Hamas would be completely, if you will, eliminated. We have seen in the past in insurgencies, movements go underground and they resurface. Mind you, Hamas is also in the West Bank. And, depending on how this operation in the Gaza Strip goes, there's a good chance that this chaos could spill over into the West Bank.
If Hamas is removed, who should look after Gaza? Who should have responsibility for the territory?
That's a very, very difficult question to answer, but obviously it has to be done in accordance with international law. One of the challenges that we have as an international community is that the Palestinian Authority was divided to begin with. You have Hamas as representing one Palestinian Authority and Fatah, its rival, representing the internationally recognized Palestinian Authority in the West Bank. That authority in the West Bank has been mired for years, if not decades, in corruption, mismanagement, internal squabbles, and now it has a geriatric leadership, and there's a leadership transition coming. So I'm not so sure that the Palestinian Authority can just be somehow transposed into Gaza and start to administer. Now, will the Egyptians want to play a role in this? It reluctantly, because they have their own political economic problems at home, and they're all heavily dependent already on Arab Gulf countries for financial assistance. This would put a much bigger strain on Egypt. So I again say nobody wants to get into this, with any degree of interest, to say the least.
Okay, Kamran Bokhari from the New Lines Institute. Dr. Bokhari, thank you very much for being with us.